I really enjoy the artifacts that come from a bad print. When the ink is smudged, when streaked, all of a sudden all the perfection that's described by those crop marks and the CMYK registration, well, it has this abstract element layered to it. The world of perfection described by these images of apples and smiling people is suddenly, smudged. It's made more human. It's made, interesting. The juxtaposition between the error and the perfection is very visually and mentally stimulating for me. I have a background working in a print shop. When I was a kid, 13, I worked at a print shop where I prepared files mostly for like real estate flyers and stuff like this. And I was always really delighted to see the big press pump out all these prints, and then there'd be some guy over there with a tiny microscope looking at the finest little details. And then in the corners of the prints, of course, are all these cool registration marks, where you can see that the CMYK is printing correctly and that the dots are overlaying in order to create the correct colors, even the crop marks of where they're going to send these big prints to the giant slicing machine that chops off the margins. And so I wanted to bring that same spirit to this piece, discovering what's possible. And so as I went down the process of first programming CMYK and then programming, for example, a GIF style dither, and then programming sort of the banding effects that would happen on a bad inkjet printer, or even thinking about, okay, what's the artifact left behind screen printing? I really started reflecting on all types of printmaking as a process of, the way it relates to working on the computer, the way it translates to physical media, and all the cool layers and different effects that are involved within that process. I'm sort of recreating just a text-based Photoshop here. I want layer styles, I want infinite layers, I want text, I want fonts, I want drop shadows, and I want those really cool CMYK margins in the printer, just like how you would get it at the print shop. Within the realm of printing is the closest thing you can get to what would be a fingerprint on a graphite drawing or a brushstroke in a painting. It's that human touch that the computer sort of wants to eliminate by nature. There's a almost game-like appeal to the challenge of emulating. And so a big core of this project ended up becoming the original Microsoft clip art library. And it's kind of fun because it's like an index of commercial activity. They created this library thinking about, what are people going to want to need a little graphic for? They're going to need a graphic for, hey, there's a business meeting, or hey, there's a holiday cookie sale, or, we're inviting people to our Easter party. So I like this library a lot as this little kind of a corporate snapshot of daily life. I've specifically tried to focus on the types of imagery that are representative of those test sheets that I mentioned. So generic imagery of bananas, sailboats, alarm clocks, paint swatches. In my work, labor is one of the primary themes, both in terms of the content and the process. But there's something about that devotion that gives the artwork its presence, that gives it that quality that makes it, hey, this isn't just a commercial product. This is something, this is something human. This is something special. And so for me, that effort, that labor is a way that I imbue my work with value. And so in Broken Printer, the labor has continually unfolded as my ideas about the project have unfolded. My artwork is inextricable from my personality, my lived experience, and my perspective of the world. Especially since moving to France, I've found more and more the idea of being an American enters my work and my sort of relation to American culture. It's defined by advertising and special effects and video games and the whole realm of commercial creativity, things that are typically not thought of as being part of the art world. For me, beauty is essential in my artwork. And, beauty can also be imperfect. For me, beauty is a sense of freedom.